Hi, I'm Josanne Wright Callender, the author of the Happy Little Garbage Truck Picture Book and Educational Program. And we were talking about the whole uh, phenomenon of dysregulation, which actually started before COVID, but the COVID lockdown seemed to exacerbate some of the behaviors that were noticed back in 2008. And so, as the author of The Happy Little Garbage Truck, I would love to help teachers find a way to reach their students and assist them in gaining social emotional learning skills. So, this article about dysregulation really caught my eye. And as I said the last time, I found a current article that really related to how additional or a, a lot of screen time has aggravated the dysregulation. And what came up, how this first came up to me was upon my, to my knowledge, was a girlfriend of mine that I used to work with who teaches second grade now. She was saying, Josanne, the children are really kind of rambunctious, and I just don't know what's going on. And she seemed to indicate that screen time, because they were really into their iPhones. And the one little girl I mentioned the last time who kind of, she took her cell phone from her, and then this little girl kind of sidled up to the desk and, to get the cell phone back without asking her. She said, I couldn't believe it. And so, I found this article, and upon reading it, I discovered that these changes have been going on since pretty much 2008. But sorry, I didn't even tell you this. In my description box, this article by Epoch Times, which is entitled "The Silent Epidemic Eating Away at Americans' Minds," talked about how the use of smart screens seems to be taking up more and more of our time, as we know, but the resulting effect has been an increase in depression, and that I didn't know. And part of that, which is, as we talked before about dysregulation can be seen in depression, it could be seen in anxiety, it can be seen as bullying. These are some of the outcomes of dysregulation. And children who were born in 2010 to 2020, which the Gen Alpha, uh, seem to have more of this happening in their lives. However, none of us are exempt. That's one thing I did discover in this article. So it did say between 2005 and 2012, there was a depressive episode, kind of identified in children or teens 12 to 17, but it barely exceeded 1%. However, in 2012 to 2017, it was almost 4%. So, we could see that that's also kind of correlating to when cell phone use was had increased among teenagers. Well, the thing that really caught my eye in this article, as I'm starting to digest it, and this is just going to be a little piece of it today, was that the clinicians that were looking at this increase in depression and increase in cell use, they were able to correlate it. They said about in 2012, when 30% of the teenagers had smartphones, the rebellious behavior and anxiety disorders were becoming more common. Now they also tend to see antisocial behavior, reduced emotional resilience, a part of this. And they believe that it can kind of relate to insufficient in-person socialization, depending because they are depending too much on their cell phones. And this is what I, I had written an article in Medium about how we played outside and hide and go seek, tag, and all these things when we were young. And a couple of us older generation folks baby boomers were talking about how much time, and actually Gen X and Y, we're talking about how much time um, the parents and associates had played outside, and we were just comparing it to what's happened since COVID. But the one thing that the researchers realized is that because children are spending so much time in the phone for entertainment, they're missing out on the social interaction that they could have with others by even playing board games, reading a book. All of these things reduce the screen time usage. And so that's my stopping point for today, just to say, if you can take the screen time down a couple of notches, even for yourself, because my husband and I, we turn everything off around 8 o'clock. We're trying to move the clock back in our time up to 7 o'clock to turn everything off. But we find that if we do that, take that upon ourselves, just to do some reading after 7. Don't take any phone calls and just give our eyes a rest. We use the blue block glasses. That helps quite a bit. But if we start with ourselves, then maybe we can also um, pass it along and feel the difference within ourselves too. We do feel more relaxed. But if we could do this with our children, it's worth a try. We'll talk more about the article next time, but thank you so much for subscribing. Please share, and please, try to reduce your screen time. Bye-bye.